Hollywood. After listening to cycling, my journey looks like I specialized in crawling. I'm trying to catch up. That's my story. When I was a kid, I was so lost that when a lot of my friends have contacted me from school after 20 years chasing me down, I don't remember a single thing that they told me. They narrate these stories and I don't remember any. I was that lost. When I became a teen, I was a punter. I was so bad at science that I used to fail, and my teachers used to punt on me that this boy can never pass science. And they were right. So this is what I did. Like a studious kid, I studied a lot of past papers and found a trend in the way they would design questions. And I said, so this year, the first question came from this chapter. The second year it came from this, and then third year it went back to the first, which means this year, I took my SSC exam like that. I scored 88 in science. When I was young, I had a kid. I had my first kid when I was 22. I got married the next day after college. I didn't have a job in hand. A lot of people told me that this is not the way university life. I said, but I would get married. So I got married. Today, I'm the head of Ideas at the world's most awarded agency. When I connect all those dots, me not remembering childhood, just hunting, watching movies somewhere, and all of that, and I see where I've come, I don't see a road at all. I've crawled everywhere and somehow reached where I have. You know, that just increases my belief in God. Above all, that if you want something and you want it terribly bad, He will find a way of getting you there. Maybe that's the story of my life. I don't believe in God or God. So if my life were a movie, especially since this is a college, I thought I should put this up. Don't try any of what I say at home. Even if you don't quote me, you never heard me, please erase this video. The screenplay would have been by both William Shakespeare and Robert Frost, because the title of the movie would be All the World is a Road. The world is so big, you don't need roads. Wherever you walk, the free world has it. It's very profound actually. I see a lot of people laughing at it. But I started my career. I studied at Kaktiya University. And when I started out, not in interviews, but everyone would ask me, and especially when you start working in Delhi and Bombay, and every other guy wears a suit and says he's from Maya. The best university for me was Usmania. So I used to lie to them saying, yeah, from Usmania University. just to continue the conversation, I didn't want to tell them where Kaktiya University is. How the college was more like a poultry farm and not a college. So they just said, I'm from Usmania University. I said, oh, Hyderabad. I said, I started selling health cards, which is where I would knock doors and tell people that this card will get you a 10% discount at hospitals, which any doctor would any which way give you, and make them pay money for it. And I used to knock these doors on Saturdays and Sundays, and so I got a lot of doors banned. So I said, okay, I can't go to homes. So I started going to, how many Telugus here? Enough Telugus? I started sitting in Kallu compound. They wouldn't buy a health card. So I used to take a Polaroid camera. 12 years back, I had shots. And I used to catch hold of someone and said, sir, do you want a photograph? I used to click a photograph, take that out, do that, and give it to someone who's sitting in the Kallu compound. And he would say, how did you get this? And I would say, it would cost you 365 rupees. And you would get a card free. Photograph, and none of them knew that I was actually selling the photograph and not the card. From there, I did a lot of things, failed at entrepreneurship and all of that. And here are my rules of how to move forward. So this is the roads, right? The world less travel. My rule is this: Wherever you want to be in life, just place a point. Now, there are only two rules when you do that. Place a point where you really, really want to be there, real bad. So don't listen to your parents, don't listen to your teachers, least of all, don't listen to your girlfriends. You place a point. So the entire world is here, and you say, I want to be here. So there is no pressure. Once that is there, never in life change that point. Irrespective of what happens, don't say, this is not working out, let me place some other point that is closer to where I am. Then start working. Don't make plans saying in 6 months' time, I will get ready and then I'll start walking. Don't make a plan. Believe me, I've done this before. Just start walking in that general direction. I want to go to Nasik. Nasik must be somewhere in the east. East should be this, so I start walking to east. That is what you do as an example. Until you meet someone who's been there. So you meet someone from Nashik and he says, hey, I'm from Nashik. Oh, you speak Marathi? Fantastic, I love you. It has been my person is like when I wanted to be in advertising and that would be an MBA from Kakti University. Trying to be in creative was, I didn't know anyone who's gone that path. So one of my friends worked in an agency. He used to sell hoardings and he told me come to Mudra. I went for an interview and my first question and the last one was, what do you know about outdoor? I said nothing, and they were really desperate, so they hired. They said, okay, this is how a hoarding goes. So I started showing people. People used to ask me about hoardings, and I said, yeah, this one. So what is the size? And I looked at my friend who recruited me, and he would say 40 feet by 20 feet. And I said, yeah. So don't mind what you do. Your objective should be somehow be within. If he asks you to mop floors, put your ego aside and just mop floors. Just be with him. Until you meet someone you're really in awe, and you will be. Say you are a chai wala. Someone mentioned a chai wala somewhere. So you are a chai wala in an ad agency. You will see a guy who really admire. Someone cycling. Yeah, I want to do that. You are an off someone, you will meet a lot of people. But pick guys who have qualities that you would want to have. You might not have them at all, but just pick them saying, I want to be Manohar and cycle 500 kilometers in one day. And that is where the real fun starts, because you got into the dressing room. Make Manohar know that you want to cycle, that he is your idol, and that you want to cycle 500 kilometers, and how is the greatest gift to mankind. You might not mean it. Let's say, what happens is you are in the same dressing room as such a gift. Once you are in the company, and you hear a lot of people talking, without you even knowing, you're learning so many things that you would not have learned if you're not in the dressing room. That requires a lot of effort, because you're trying to be someone who you know in your deepest of hearts that you know you're not him. So what required in my place when I was there is people used to talk this language. It sounded English, but it wasn't. So much of jargon that Philip Kotler somehow missed. Which agency did Philip Kotler work in? And you didn't get an answer. So thankfully, Google started when I started. So now you have it even better. So it's even easier now. So people used to mention, and I used to stand there saying I know. And I used to go out, who do I call if I know what this is? And then come back and act as if I knew. I think I did it for about 2 years until I myself forgot that I didn't know what I did. I was already talking like my idol and being that as well. That is the point where you're actually in. Now, so I meet Manohar. I try to be like Manohar. I do it in 2 years. Now I'm bored of it. So I look at someone else on whom I should be. So I see Dheeraj and I say, wow, I should start dressing up like Dheeraj. Yeah, I steal his suit and start wearing it. In 1 year's time, I'm able to steal his suit, I become it. Every time you do this, you are adding a layer to your personality. That you are educating yourself and adding a layer to your own personality. In a few years' time, even you don't recognize the kind of improvement that's happened in your life. So by the time I started in coding, I was selling coding. So by the time I entered, there was no one, and I really admired a guy, Dr. Ravi Patil. That guy used to Google so much and talk of making research projects right via Google. And I didn't know what Google was. I learned everything about Google from the late Dr. Ravi Patil. I met my next title called Lakshmi Narayan. He's retired now. But he was a great guy where if you need 2 words to finish a sentence, he used to speak one. I said, how does he do it? How does he connect with the audience where every word he speaks, the audience thinks that it's a one-on-one dialogue with only that person and that you're not out to anyone. Then I found this woman called Meera Sarachandra, who was the idea factory. I used to look at her in awe saying, it's been 5 minutes and she's already given me 20 ideas to work on. And so by selling codings, I became a business head of selling codings. And then someone said, do you want to enter planning? I said, sure. But can we talk about it tomorrow because I'm already getting late because I didn't know anything about planning. So I did my research in the night, came back next day and said, I'm ready. And they didn't know many people who knew how outdoor works, how retail works, how engagement works and all of that. People knew how to make television commercials. People didn't, there was nobody in planning who knew all the non-traditional part of advertising. And somehow, through all my experiences, when you look around, I was one of the very few guys that was there. I learned from Meera how to keep ideating. So in about a year's time, I started ideating with her, and some of the ideas that I came up with became huge hits. I don't know if you not have heard of. There was an idea called the Aircel. Aircel launched in Mumbai. They were the 14th or 15th telecom player to launch. They spent about 3.5 crores on codings, and they hired Tony. And still in Bombay, nobody knew what Aircel was. So I had this crazy plan. So I said, monsoons are about to start. And from the municipal corporation, that issued a directive saying this monsoons, don't call your friends or relatives to Bombay because Bombay is going to flood. I said, what a joke. Which city says, don't call your relatives because our city is going to flood? So I told Aircel that we'll put up a board on a billboard as a social comment. So I got Philip Kotler rewind on where is the brand position, what is the brand want to do. You're not selling boards and all. I tricked them into executing it, laid it on the ego, saying if you can't take a decision of 35,000, why are you sitting in this chair? So we put up a billboard. It was all hot and sunny. People started laughing. Distributors started calling up, saying, what are you selling? Boats? And he said, you know what? We already made a fool of ourselves. The boat is on the billboard. Let's wait for the rains to start. The rain started. We picked the road so well that the road we picked flooded. People climbed down to the hoarding, took out the boat, and started ferrying people in Mumbai streets. There was every television channel covering that, every newspaper covering that, saying what a joke that BMC could not provide good roads or drainage or whatever, and there's this private telecom player, new one, who's done this. And we were on the front page of Economic Times, Times of India, Hindustan Times, Maharashtra Times, one single day, and all we spent was their ideas like this started saying, okay, there's something called non-traditional media, where you don't need to spend so much of money if things have to work. Be eager to fail. And eager as in, You look at a project and everybody says, not mine, that is the project you should be. Because nobody is taking it. If you fail, and it's very simple. If you fail, everybody will tell you, I don't. If one in a million times you succeed, people will look at you like God. Every time there is a project that is bound to fail, that is your right to. Try to be big, being the hero. This is what we do. Simple steps. Every time there's a challenge, every time you move in life, repeating it until you die. And I know if my life were a movie, nobody would make it. Because my life is more like a television serial. You will go everywhere and you need a, people will forget where they started and where they're going. So nobody will make it. So the next thing in life that I want to do is because there is no one, I'll make this movie myself. I haven't made a single movie now, but I had made a single ad before. I didn't know anybody who made ads before, but I reached where I have, and I'm not even 60. So there are a lot of success books. I tried to copy for your TEDx event. I said everybody would have heard this. So I said, okay, let me try a few slides myself. So good luck to you on your journey.